everyone, thank you for joining me. Welcome to Find Your Flow. My name is Natalie and I will be guiding you through this practice today. So we have a quick little morning flow to just wake up the body and get some oil back in the joints after we've been very static for 7, 8, whatever hours in bed. So hop into something very comfy, find a mat, find some props that you could use to help support your body and lift the ground, up to you. So anything at all, from pillows, books, cushions, towels, blankets, absolutely anything. Just find something and bring it down by your side. So we're going to start in a mountain pose, Tadasana. And we do this by bringing our feet hips distance apart to find some space in our sacrum and lower back. Bringing our toes to track forwards and the knees really softly bending over the toes. Then finding this length through our spine, all the way from the tip of our tailbone through the lower back, middle back, upper back, shoulders, all the way to the crown of the head. So taking a deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath out of the mouth. 2 more times. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Once more. Really exhale any energy you have that might be unwanted. And just let it all go out of the mouth. Lovely. Then coming to breathe naturally in and out of the nose. Really feeling each part of our feet on the ground. All 26 bones of the feet connecting to the earth beneath us. Bending our knees even more. Cross our arms over. Reach them wide and all the way towards the sky, gazing up if we can. And releasing, bending the knees, crossing the arms, spreading your wings, opening. Finding space through the side body, the side ribs, one more time. Nice, hands come together at the heart in Anjali Mudra. We interlace the hands, bring the elbows towards each other and keep the hands nice and soft as we just pump the elbows up and down. Loosening the wrist space, down to the forearms, the fingers, the hands. Nice, and then sending the arms out wide. Taking a big breath in. As we exhale, keeping our hips facing forwards, travel over to the left side, twisting just through the top space of our body. Coming back to center, twisting over to the right. Find this rotation through the rib cage, through the thoracic spine, then floating over to the left, over to the right. Find this real softness here as we just move from side to side. Find even more of a bend in the knees, but keeping the hips facing as far forwards as we can as we get this twist through our upper body. Nice. One more time to each side. And floating back to center, arms reach wide all the way up towards the sky. And then releasing the hands, tucking the chin to the chest. We start to slowly roll down towards the ground in a forward fold. Really slowly, arms hanging heavily. Head and neck is soft, taking away all of the tension from this space. Bending our knees, we arrive in our fold. Gently start to sway from side to side, really heavy like a pendulum. Keep the feet really feeling into the ground, noticing this connection. And floating back to center, really slowly rolling up. Like a rag doll, we're stacking our spine one vertebrae at a time. Keeping the chin tucked into the chest as we arrive in our mountain pose. And taking our gaze over to the left, up towards the sky. And circling it round to the right and down towards the ground. Nice, over to the other side. Go to the right first. And up, moving with your own breath and your own neck space today. We'll meet with our chin tucked into our chest, mountain pose. Then slowly rolling all the way back down, just waking up the posterior chain of our body. When we come to our fold, we'll hook opposite hand to opposite elbow as we sway gently from side to side, really releasing any tension from the shoulder space. And then coming back to center, slowly rolling up, really, really slowly. This time we'll allow the gaze to lift as we float our arms wide, reaching for the sky. And then releasing hands down by our sides, right hand down the right leg, left hand reaches up the side body through the ribs and floats towards the sky. Option to stay here, or maybe we fold over to the right a little bit more. But be really aware of the hips, so we just sending the hips over. Can we keep them, imagine we're standing in cement from the hips down, so this is all nice and strong. We're really feeling this opening through our side body. Breathing. And then floating back to center, left hand down the left leg, right hand reaches across our ribs and towards the sky, then folding over to the left. Nice. Coming all the way back through center, chin tucks to the chest. One more time, slowly rolling down to the ground into our fold. This time we lift up halfway, finding a flat back with our fingertips reaching behind like airplane wings. Can we find even more space between our shoulders and our earlobes? One more breath here. Before releasing down to the ground, planting the palms, stepping into a 4-point kneeling in a tabletop. Wrists beneath the shoulder space, knees beneath the hips. Bumping the hips to the left, we'll take our gaze past our right shoulder. And bumping the hips to the right, gazing to the left. 2 more times to each side, just oiling up the joints in the body. Keep moving. As S Club 7 said, don't stop moving. Nice, and then floating back to center. Whenever you've finished, we'll tuck our toes under, sit back onto our feet. Keeping this long spine, arms reaching forwards. And then reaching the hands, walking them back onto the thighs. Notice if your toes start to scream at you here. Can we just sit with this sensation, breathe with this, rather than labeling it as good or bad, probably bad? Can we just notice it simply as a feeling, as a sensation? We're reaching the hands out to the sides. And then swimming the left hand to the outside of the right thigh, right hand all the way behind us. And if this does get too much on the toes, we can lift up onto the knees. Twisting here, again exploring this through our thoracic spine and through our rib cage, rather than just hoisting our head, neck and shoulder around. Floating back to center, arms reach, and then right hand to the outer left thigh. Left hand all the way behind us. Twisting. Keeping the spine nice and tall, this long line from our tail to our crown. Finding one more breath here. Before floating back to center, coming off the feet, hands down, and just untucking the toes, giving them a little shake, a bang on the ground, get the blood flowing all the way through. Nice. Then working with our spine and our cat and cows. We'll roll our tailbone down to the ground. As we arch our spine towards the sky, drop our gaze, cat pose. And then floating our tailbone high, rolling through the spine, lifting the gaze, cow pose. Nice. Keep moving here softly. Notice your breath. Notice the gentle resistance against the ground through the palms as we keep lifting out of the shoulder space. Nice. One more time through your cat and cow. Can we imagine our spine moving as individual parts here as we float with our breath? And then coming back to center in your neutral spine, whenever you're ready, we'll tuck our toes under. Start to find big circles over to the right, coming back over the feet and forwards over the wrists. Nice, 2 more circles in this direction. Really get some oil in the elbows, the shoulders, the knees, the hips, the spine, the side body, the head and neck, and then send your circle in the opposite direction. And floating all the way back to center, untucking the toes, we'll send the left leg out behind us. You're really sending away through the heel, and then float the right hand forward if you'd like to, or keep it firmly on the ground. Listen to where your energy is today, listen to your body. And curling the elbow towards the knee, rounding through center, and then opening, reaching. Really finding this flexion through the spine as we curl through, and then extension as we open, finding space and reaching one more time. And opening, sending the hand down, but keeping the left leg reaching back. And then stepping it all the way forwards, jumping into a low lunge, back knee on the ground, or if your energy is a little bit different today, feel free to lift that up as we float the hands wide. Reach all the way towards the sky, soften the elbows, cactus arms. Really find this space through our heart space. Then floating the right hand down onto our brick block or the earth, left hand to the rib cage as it spirals open to the left side of the mat and then reaches towards the sky. Finding space through our twist, noticing the front knee, keeping it over the front ankle as we bring our left hand to the shoulder. And start to draw a line through space with our elbow, forwards, round and back. Nice. One more time. And then maybe we lengthen the arm here, find a windmill all the way forwards, towards the sky and back. One more time. Gorgeous. Meeting back in our twist for one breath. And then floating all the way back to center. Arms reach high, softening, hands either side of the front leg. This might be nice to lift onto your bricks or blocks here, find a bit more height as we rock the toes up towards the face, hips back over the knees. And then really generously bending the knee. It doesn't matter if, we bend it all the way. We're just making sure not to lock into this knee joint. So being kind to ourselves as we release our stomach down towards our thigh. Keep the toes lifting towards the face. One more breath here. Before moving and rocking forwards and rocking back. Using the support if we need to, or curling the hands, crawling them forwards and back on the mat. It's just oiling the joints here. And the next time you rock forward, stay there, turning the left toes out, bringing the hands into the center, lifting onto as much support as you need to, finding our lizard pose, nice long spine. If you have lots and lots of space, you might like to come down onto the forearms. Wherever we are, finding one more breath. Before planting the right hand down to the ground. Option to keep the back knee on the earth or tuck the toes under and lift it as we float the left hand all the way out. 2 more times, moving with our breath, opening and releasing once more. And then coming back down to the ground, planting the palms, stepping back to our tabletop. Shifting the hips around, just moving in a really funky circle. And if somebody walks in, don't worry, you don't feel silly, you just feel great. Nice, and then coming back to center, sending the right leg all the way out, reaching away through the heel. Option to float the left hand forwards, reaching away through the fingertips. Finding one nice big breath here before curling the elbow towards the knee, rounding through the spine. Opening 2 more times. Keep resisting the earth through the right palm. And reaching all the way out. Left hand down, stepping the right leg forwards. Rising into our lunge, cactus arms. Really finding this lift through the heart space. Keeping the back knee lowered or lifting it up. As we float the left hand down to the ground, right hand spirals the ribs over and then reaches towards the sky. Nice. Breathing in. Breathing out, bringing the right hand to the shoulder as we make big circles forwards, round and back. One more time. An option here to lengthen the arm, like our big windmill arm, coming all the way forwards, finding space. Once more. Nice. Coming back into our twist for one breath. And before releasing down and bringing the hands either side of the front foot, lifting onto whatever support you want to, and then rocking the right toes towards the face. Nice bend in the knee. Keeping the head and neck in extension of the spine. So notice if we're crunching up here or collapsing down. And then start to rock forwards and back. Just really explore this space we have today. Try not to think about the end goal or the end pose, but rather how it feels when we transition to this space. And coming all the way forwards, turning the right toes out, hands to center, lizard pose. Choose your lizard pose today. Know that it might be very different to the lizard you did yesterday or the lizard you might do tomorrow. So just feeling your own body. And planting the left hand down, back knee lifted or lowered, right hand reaches towards the sky. We open and release 2 more times. Just giving our hips lots and lots of love here. Nice. Coming down to the ground whenever you've finished. We'll float back into our tabletop. Bumping the hips to the left, to the right, all the way around, releasing. Tucking the toes under, walking the hands back as we shake the wrists out. Give our arms some love. And then jumping straight back. Keep the toes tucked as we sit back on the heels. Reach the arms out long. Keep lengthening through the spine as we press down through the palms. We'll lift the hips high, downward facing dog. Just pedal through the heels here. Remember, don't stop moving. Nice. Notice your breath. Have you started to clench your jaw? If the feet are really close together or the hands are really close together, can we find a bit more space here as we just move into somewhere that feels good? And bend the knees, particularly in the morning when we're just waking our body up, really, really bend the knees. Bend the knees even more. And we find an even longer line from our tailbone to our crown. As we breathe in and breathe out. And then slowly rocking the shoulders forwards over the wrist space. We'll start to send the knees down towards the ground, but hover them off the earth just before they get there. Keep hovering, keep hovering. Connecting to that space in our center, deep abdominal muscles, keep hovering and releasing. Nice, making sure we keep spreading through the fingers as we hover the knees off once more. Breathing here and releasing. Pressing down to rise up, hover. Notice where your mind and your attention goes here. Creating a little fire in the belly, one more breath. And releasing all the way down, walking the knees back as we keep the shoulders rocking forwards, coming into our low plank. Bending the elbows behind us, nice and soft, releasing our hips, chest, chin down towards the ground. Then pressing through our forearms, bringing our elbows underneath our shoulder space. We'll take our feet nice and wide as we rise up, lifting our heart space forwards, Sphinx pose. And softening slightly, releasing down to the ground and then pressing up to rise. Find finding extension. Keeping our head and neck an extension of the spine so we aren't crunching forwards or back. And softening slightly once more before rising, pressing down. Heart space lift forwards. And coming all the way back down. Hands lightly press into the earth as we rock all the way back. Knees wide, toes together, child's pose. Notice where your attention has travelled today in your child's pose. Has it already jumped off the mat and into the rest of your day, or the rest of your week, or onto your to-do list? And we keep it in this space, focusing on our breath, the one constant thing in a state of flow. We connect to each inhale. We connect to each exhale, just feeling them, noticing them. We don't have to do anything special here. And we just allow ourselves to breathe and know that we are breathing. Coming to the end of our practice here. If you need to boogie, then be very mindful of jumping off the mat. If you want to, we can slowly lift forward, send the legs to one side, and come on down to the ground, finding a Shavasana. And in your Shavasana, making your body really heavy. Completely melting down into the ground beneath you, feeling the support from the earth. Noticing your physical body. Do we have a little bit more space now in between our joints? Can we be here now? Staying here for as long as you like. Closing off our practice together by bringing the palms together up towards the third eye point. Being aware of our thoughts. Thumbs down to the mouth. Being aware of our words. Thumbs down to the heart. Being aware of ourselves. From my heart to yours, Namaste.